I will only tell the truth. I will only tell the truth.
What's up, y'all? Y'all know what time it is. It's the fireman right here, Lewis Dooley. And man, it's Fire Friday, which means what? Which means we got a fire video. And I got my partner right here, my brother in Christ, Eddie, who has been out like what? Like about a
year and a half.
Year and a half, man, about 18 months. Man. And how long was you in?
27 years.
27 years. Wow, man, that's a stretch right there. And so I got with my boy Eddie right here because we used to whip up some meals and stuff like that back in the day, right?
Right, we used to do all the Christian banquets.
We used to do all the Christian banquets. And so tell them, what does that mean? We used to do all the Christian banquets.
Well, you get 2 banquets every year in the Christian community. One's a catered banquet where you get food that comes in from the outside, and then you get one where you can order food from the canteen and make it up for the inmates.
Yeah, so we used to get a chance to do that, and we would actually get volunteers, and me and Eddie would cook, and some things he did that I didn't do, and vice versa. And we worked together well as a team. And I thought, since I'm in the Lou, St. Louis for y'all that don't know the terminology, I thought I've been doing some cooking shows the last few weeks. And so I thought, what better opportunity would there to be for me to hook up with my boy Eddie so we can whip a meal up. Now, what are we whipping up today, Eddie?
We're going to make macaroni salad. It's something the guys at Potosi liked. Every year they requested it for the banquet.
Man, they requested it.
Yeah.
Now, see, that's something new for me. Like, we never had the macaroni salad before. So that's a new item for me. So I'm learning something today from Eddie. And so I'm going to kind of let him run point on this. So take it away, Eddie.
Okay, what we have here in the bowl is macaroni noodles, Kraft macaroni. We have 2 boxes in here. We cooked them on the stove with boiling water, but when you're incarcerated, you don't have access to a stove, so we use a microwave and bowls that we purchased out of the canteen. And you boil it in the microwave, you drain the water, add cold water to it to stop the cooking process. And you want your noodles cooked where they're still firm. You don't want mushy noodles. So you want them still firm, and then you cool them down, and then you just start adding in your ingredients.
Well, hold on. So you talked about using the microwave to boil water. About how many minutes would it take to boil some water in the microwave?
Well, it takes probably about 10 minutes to get the water boiling, and then probably another 10 minutes cooking with it. So you figure about 20 minutes to cook.
And that's using the microwave?
Yeah.
Are you do you got your own microwave to use?
No, there's 100 inmates, and each inmate has access to one microwave.
So while you standing there boiling water, what's going on around the microwave?
There's people waiting in line, impatiently trying to cook their
food. They got
food.
Coffee cups stacked up. Somebody else trying to make some macaroni and cheese.
Can I just get a minute? Can I just get a minute?
Can I just get a minute to heat this mud up? You know what I'm saying? And it'd be like, man, you see, they know what you're doing, right? But they like, man, I'm trying to, and so it's like, let me go get you my stinger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to point that out, like, don't think like, oh, we can just walk out the cell and boom, duh, the microwave is there. Sometimes we have to wait in line, like, how long?
Sometimes hours.
Hours,
cooking
man.
up a whole meal.
So remember, we would have a big meal planned out, right? And we go out on the yard, we'd get some wreck in, and then somebody come in early, like maybe 2 o'clock window, right?
Yes.
So they can get the microwave and start pre-cooking stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So it's crazy, man, but there's different methods that you can use, and it's just being smart about what you want to do, because a lot of animosity can transpire from that microwave, can't it?
One of the things I would do is I always wait till late at night when there was less traffic, and then I'd cook the macaroni, and then I could put it on nice overnight.
So this is a cold dish that you eat?
Yes, a cold dish, yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. So, okay, so that is smart. You wait till kind of the end of the night, but even at the end of the night,
you still have guys like to drink coffee.
Listen. You can't avoid these dudes with these little coffee cups, man. They like a little army of guys that be coming there and they hang out the microwave. How long?
The half hour. Some of them come heat their coffee up, go sit it down and talk, and come back 20 minutes later want to heat the same cup of coffee.
They want to heat it up again, man. So like these dudes are unavoidable, man. And so what the prison did was we petitioned them to say, hey, look, it's 100 folks and 1 microwave. And so, man, by God's grace, they got us another microwave. So that cut the time down pretty much in half, but it still was problems. So like, I just want you guys to kind of see, because that's why we're doing this, so you can kind of see and have some semblance of understanding of what it looked like when we was whipping these meals up. And this is a kind of a $high meal, right?
Yeah.
Like I call this a pimp meal.
Yeah. Generally, you get 2 or 3 guys that put in on it.
2 or 3 guys to put in on it. So go ahead. You got the noodles already ready.
They're
the
ready.
Consistency is
They're
right.
Cooled down. Yeah. And we add ranch to it.
All
we
right.
have generally for 1 box of macaroni, we'll add 3 tablespoons of ranch. Generally in prison we don't have bottles. We'll have little packets of ranch dressing.
Yeah.
It's
So we
already off.
didn't. That's all. We gotta take this off, right? Here, you know, I go
I
old
already-
school.
I thought I already got it off.
Yeah, I go old school with mine. You know, it's all good. You know, it's all love. There you go, brother.
So you want to add, since there's 2 boxes, we're going to add 6 tablespoons.
6 tablespoons. Y'all get that? For all y'all that want to try these recipes. And really, like, if you want a little bit less, like...
You can add more or you can add less.
Yeah, so it's
up
kind
to
of like
you.
a personal preference of what you really want. So,
Yeah, and then we want to add a little mayo.
all right,
Generally,
so we got the mayonnaise. And that's just some, I ain't never heard of Duke's. But, you know, I just get, like, kind of the cheapest stuff because I buy it out of my own pocket. And, you know, but mayonnaise, just say it's real mayonnaise.
You want to add probably about a tablespoon or a teaspoon per box. So we're just going to put a tablespoon in there.
Okay.
And then what we want to do is mix this in.
All right. So I'm looking at you mix this in, and I'm thinking like I'm a saucy type guy, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, man, that look kind of dry to me. I
So
might
you
want to
might
add a
wanna
little bit
add
more. But
little
again, you can
ranch.
kind of play it by ear. It kind of depends on, are you more of a ranch person, or are you more of a mayonnaise person? And whichever one you are, then you add maybe a little bit more of that, or you can add a little bit of both, either
Exactly.
to taste, right? Because mayonnaise doesn't have as vibrant a taste as ranch dressing does. And so if you want a little bit more bite, then maybe you add a little more ranch. But we can leave that up to you.
We also have some pickle. We'll put a little pickle in there.
You want some pickle, so I can start
So
cutting
we
this
can
pickle
cut-
up?
We can cut pickle up.
All right, so just
we,
regular
we
kosher
dice it
dill.
up. We dice it up. Then we add a little garlic. Now the garlic you can add generally about a tablespoon per box, or a teaspoon, excuse me, per box.
Now, how much of this pickle do we want to put in there?
The whole pickle.
The
needs to
whole,
go in it.
okay, all right, I'm with
Usually, generally I would use a half a pickle per box. So
Oh,
we
okay,
have 2
all right.
boxes, so we'll use a whole pickle.
that. All right, and how should I, how small should I just cut them in 4?
Yeah,
or
dice
just
them.
Dice them,
up.
okay.
Yeah, we dice
All
them
right,
up.
yep.
And then we want to add a little salt and pepper. The seasoning, I mean, it's optional how much salt and pepper you want to put in there. If you don't think there's enough in there, you can always add more when you're at the table.
Now, how did you come up with this recipe? Was this what you
There
saw
was
somebody else make?
Yeah,
or-
there was another inmate I was incarcerated with at Potosi, and
Okay.
he made it, but I changed some of the ingredients in it. And
Well, what did you change that wasn't the original?
well, he used olives in his. I put pickle.
How y'all
but
get
I-
olives?
Well, they sell olives in the canteen.
Oh,
Little
they weren't selling
packs.
them when I was there.
Yeah, they started selling little packs, and really I like the olives better than the pickles, but a lot of people don't eat olives, so
I like both, man. Pickles and
Yeah.
olives. Oh boy,
combination of both would be really great.
it would be good. You should have told me, man.
Yeah.
I got some olives too.
We also add about a teaspoon of Mrs. Dash per box in here too.
I was too cheap. That stuff was like $4.99. So I'm like, shoot, Miss Dash, you ain't
Miss
dashing
Dash is
today.
out.
Yeah, you ain't dashing today, girlfriend.
We also
So-
add cheese, and the more cheese you add, the better things are. So you can never have too much cheese, in my opinion. So we'll add a good portion of this cheese. I mean, that's another thing you can vary on too. You don't have to add as much cheese. Generally in prison, they sell blocks of mozzarella cheese, and I would add a block per a box of macaroni noodles. So we'll add the whole bag.
And
in
what
here.
kind of cheese are you adding?
Mozzarella.
Mozzarella, man. The mozzarella. All right, I got the pickles cut up, man. You just let me
All
know
right.
when you're ready to
You
add
can
them
just
in there.
add them right in the bowl.
All right, let me slide them on in there then, G. Is that good?
That's good.
All right, I like doing this with somebody else, man. You know, all my other shows, it was kind of me. It get kind of lonely, but now I got somebody to talk to. And
Yeah.
I can be thinking about stuff while he talking, so go ahead.
Yeah, so we add a little pickle, mix it in. Then we have an onion here. In prison, you don't really have access to the onion, but they do sell minced onions in the canteen. So what we do is we'll take like a cap full of minced onions, and we'll add water to it to rehydrate them. Mix one of those per box, but it tastes much better with the real onion.
So check this out, right? I know as y'all can see, it looks a little grimy right now. Like you see shadows and stuff, and you probably thinking like, man, we can't really see their face. Like Like you can only like half of Eddie's face is like a shadow. And you know what, man? The truth of the matter is, I forgot my lights at home before I came to St. Louis, and I got some construction lights going, and I don't really know how to do this. So the reality that we're gonna live in today is that I'm going for a different kind of grungy, cinematic look. So I hope you like the look. If you want to comment and say, hey man, I can't see this, I can't see that, hey, just think of it as Lewis is trying something new. But moving forward, we'll be able to get things a little bit more right so you can see a little bit more clarity. But for today, it's gonna be good. So you want me to start chopping the onion up?
Yeah, we can dice up the onion.
How much of the onion you want me to get?
The whole onion.
The whole onion, okay.
And it's
so
a small onion. It's not a great big onion.
yeah, I got a small one, you know. It was like 99 cents a pound, so I was trying to find the smallest one. But you mentioned minced onions and also real onions. Like, dudes be getting real onions, man.
Yeah, well.
How they be getting them?
Well, usually you have a friend that works in the canteen or in the kitchen, and they smuggle food out of the kitchen all the time.
They smuggle food out. Now, I talked about this before on one of my previous shows, but just for the sake of any people watching that hasn't seen one of those shows, like, what you think about that? What's your view on that?
Well, I think you shouldn't be taking stuff out of the kitchen. I mean,
Yeah.
one, it's against the rules, and technically it's stealing.
Now,
That's how
why?
the
Now
institution
it's
looks at
against
it.
the rules, but you're in prison, and the whole mentality is like the rules only in effect like if you get caught. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
well-
It's our job to break the rules. It's the
Well-
police job to do what?
Well, as
Catch us.
Right.
So, what's up?
But as believers, you know, we answer to God. We don't answer to
Believers
the
in
authority.
what, man?
Believers in
I
Christ.
believe that if I can get me an onion about the kitchen, then my meal gonna taste good.
Yeah, I mean, some people feel that way, but you know, as believers in Christ, you know, we're called to live a different life.
Amen.
You know,
Amen.
God tells us, you know, steal no longer. You know, work for your food. You know, so we shouldn't be doing that. It sets a bad example to the staff and to other inmates. So,
Amen, amen. We definitely want to be being a good witness. And as I shared in a previous show, like I'm guilty. Like I never stole them out the kitchen, but I definitely for a number of years bought onions and bell peppers and
Same
hamburger
way.
meat. You know, and that was there were brothers that would come and say something to you. Anybody ever come and say something to you like, what you doing with that onion?
no, I never have, but
You must not never live with a guy named Tim. And you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. You know,
Yeah.
he gonna come let you know, which in all actuality, like, is that really a bad thing?
no, I mean, your brothers are supposed to call you out.
Am I my brother's keeper?
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's one of them things
Iron
where,
sharpens iron.
yeah, you know, and it's one of those things where, you know, pride can get in the way when somebody approaches you and say, hey, brother, like, you know you ain't supposed to be getting down like that, or you know you ain't supposed to have that. And the first thing I feel is
Be
like
like, man,
inside I start
mind your
welling
own
up.
business.
You mind your own business, you know, and it's like, you know, a lot of people ain't gonna come to you and even tell you, man. You know what I mean? It takes courage to approach a person when they doing something sinful and not like beat them down and talk crazy to them, but in love, right? Speak some truth to them.
Right.
You know, the word tells us to admonish one another. And so, you know, not a lot of that is going on in prison, but I never see it out here on the streets. I've been out of prison 11 years. I ain't never had nobody come and tell me, man, brother, man, you ever consider like maybe what you doing or what you saying is sinful? And trust me, there's been some sinful actions and stuff come out my mouth before. You know, and it's just like, it makes me wonder, like, do a person really love me? Because a friend gonna do what?
They're gonna monitor you. They're gonna let you know.
They gonna tell you the truth, man.
Right, because they don't want you to suffer the consequences of that.
Yeah, I remember a celly that you had that I used to be at the poker table, and I really wasn't gambling. And I knew it was against institutional rules, and I wasn't really like trying to make no money. It was just dudes be over there acting silly, you know what I'm saying? I'm over there laughing at un-Christ-like stuff, you know. But I was getting down wrong, and his celly one day, he came and with love and with tears in his eyes, he was basically like, man, you know, I love you, brother, and you know Jesus loves you, and it saddens him and breaks his heart to see you doing this. And I was like, man, you right, man. I appreciate that. And you know what I did? I stopped doing it.
Amen.
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
I ain't stopped doing it. I got to start looking at what time he'd be out at work.
Oh,
and I'd be
work around his schedule, huh?
Work around his schedule, man, because that's what we do, right? We love our sin.
Wow.
And so we'll work around that. And so I remember one day I was at the poker table, and he must have had a visit or he had to come in early. And I see him in the sally port. And I'm like, oh, man, here he come. And so I ducked down, and I slid away and went to my cell. As soon as I got to my cell, He didn't see me, but I was like, man, what you doing, man?
Yeah.
Like, what's up with that? Like, I felt the conviction, man. I repented, and I was like, man, I'm done, man. That was the last time I went to the poker table, man. You know, so there was great value in my life to fight against a sin that even I wasn't even fighting against to begin with.
Right.
But I knew it was wrong. But because of this brother that came to me, like, it helped me overcome something.
Yeah, and it's amazing how we think we can hide our sin from our brother, but God brings everything out into the light, and we can't hide it from him, and he's the one we're offending ultimately.
Amen, amen. So what's next, man?
So we also have a sausage that slimy. You can use slimy or sausage.
Now, I
Looks
got
like
a
you
different kind. I got a fancy
Looks
one.
like you got a jalapeno.
I got a jalapeno cheddar. Because I'm thinking, hey, we like cheddar cheese.
Yeah.
Right? We like jalapenos.
Yeah.
A little bit of, when you in the joint, the food, what kind of flavor the food have?
Bland.
Bland, right? So what do dudes be doing when they go to the chow
You
hall?
doctor it up. You take hot sauce up there, whatever you got to cook your meal, a little ranch
dudes will
dressing.
get like the little kitchen gloves, and they'll take a finger, right, and they'll fill a finger up with hot sauce or jalapeno peppers or something.
A big thing is you take the ramen noodle soups, the seasoning packet out of the ramen noodle soups.
That's
take
right.
that up there, put a little bit of that on there.
Yeah. Now you told me get a small sausage, right? That was the ingredients, and I'm like,
that's like
man, like we ain't in the penitentiary no more. We ain't gotta get them little $1.10 beef sausages. We gonna get this big boy. So I got this big boy. Now we don't have to use all of it unless you want to.
We
think it'd be cool?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
All right, cool, man.
You know, I'm
trying
nice
to
and
see.
hearty.
Let me wipe some of this grease off of there.
Yeah, generally they're coated in grease, so we generally wipe it off.
Yeah.
So that it's you're not getting all lard.
And sometimes, like when we used to use this stuff, we actually dice it up and throw it in the microwave with some paper towels and cook some of the grease out.
Yeah.
But the grease got, like, it tastes good.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily bad. It just can be really greasy.
Especially in the fried soup.
Especially in the fried soup, which that's what I'm gonna do for y'all next week. I'm gonna make some fried noodles. I'm gonna do it 3 ways. I'm gonna do it in the crock pot. I'm gonna do it in the bowl, just in the microwave, and then you know the other way to do it?
In a bowl, in a crock pot?
Yep, and there's one other way to fry the noodles.
Nah.
In a popcorn bag.
Oh yeah, popcorn bag.
The
Yeah, I seen
popcorn
guys do
bag,
that.
right,
Boy, the whole
used-
wing stinks, boy. I tell you when they cook in a popcorn bag.
A used popcorn bag. But it actually tastes pretty good. That
does taste good.
That butter residue that's there kind of cooks into the noodles, and so it gives the noodle like a little
browns
buttery.
them
It
real
browns
good.
them real good. Yeah, so that's gonna be the next one, y'all. You can see how to fry them noodles. I just made a big pot of fried noodles a week ago, just because I was at the crib and I'm like, I got a taste for some fried noodles.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I don't even look at the ramen noodle soup aisle when I go to this grocery store.
You
I gotta
don't,
stay away from
man.
it.
I guess you did almost twice as many years as me, and I guess I'm more
Sick of ramen noodle
institutionalized.
soups.
Yeah, man. You know, it's like an acquired taste, man. You know, over them years, I kind of acquired that. And sausage is good, like with some crackers and some cheese.
Oh yeah, I'll still
you know,
eat
to
some
snack
sausage.
on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You get that and sausage and some this little square block cheese. And,
So what other kind of things would y'all, now your celly that you had once upon a time, Dwayne, that rascal there used to stay whipping up.
oh yeah, we always had, crock pot full of beans, making nachos, talking about getting stuff out of the kitchen. We used to always get hamburger out of the kitchen, put in our nachos, and we ate pretty good.
I remember one day at Potosi, I was on the top walk and y'all was like on the bottom walk, and I remember he came up to the bottom. He was like,
Well, hold up, just so you know, the sausage ends, they never go into the thing. The cook always gets them.
Y'all heard that, right? The cook get the butt. That's the butt. But I remember your celly Dwayne one time, he came up, he was like, Dooley. You know how so I come down and he was like, I got some hamburger. You got some beans? I'm like, I got anything you need. You got some hamburger, whatever I don't got, I go to the store man.
Yeah.
So tell them about the store man.
Yeah, the store man, usually there's a couple guys in the wing. They give you commissary. You get something from them. You get 2 items from them, and you pay 3 back.
Now you talking another inmate, right?
Another inmate, yeah.
So how would they get these?
Well, they go and purchase them from the canteen.
So they would buy a bunch.
Oh, yeah. Several bags of chips.
It's like several to like 10 or 15.
20 sometimes.
I mean, I had a store before.
I had a store too myself. Yeah. And we had probably about $300-400 worth of groceries in there.
So basically what you do is you go to the commissary and you buy pretty much the limit. They got limits on stuff you can buy. So you would buy the limit or close to the limit on a lot of items. And then if a dude ran out of his snacks or his money didn't hit his books, you go to him, and whatever you get from him, you got to pay him that price back plus half. So if it was $1, you got to pay him $1.50 back,
Right.
which is pretty lucrative. Dudes back in the day used to try to do a 2-for-1. That's really lucrative, but I've never really seen dudes do 2-for-1.
Nobody's gonna.
Unless you was like in the hole or something like that.
Right.
Right, where you know
Them
dudes
things-
didn't have nothing but you and you could take
then you might
advantage.
even get more than that, more than 2-for-1.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
again, that's another thing. That's against the institutional rules.
Yep.
Something we probably shouldn't have been doing.
Oh, it ain't
Most
no
definitely.
ain't no
Most
probably
definitely
about
we
it.
shouldn't have been doing.
So how did you used to keep your books? So think about it. You may have 50 dudes that's got a tab with you, right? And they would pay you back whenever tip week. The tip week was everybody got paid. When was it in the month? Like the third
like
week
the
of
third
the month?
week of the month, yeah.
Like the third week of the month,
I think
everybody in the
I
prison.
think they get it on the 10th now. They post their tip. on the
Okay,
10th.
all right. So everybody in the prison gets money, whether it's a paid job, like a paid job. Money you would get the same time. That way you knew everybody had money. And so the store man would come around and everybody give you a little list, right? And it'll have like if I got 4 bags of chips from them, they might not want 4 bags of chips. If chips cost $1, that means I owe them $4 plus half back, so I owe them $6. And they'll give me a list for $6 and have the items on there that they want. And so how did you used to keep track of that?
Well, I had a book, a little book, and each page number was a sale number. And I would take the item and I would put like 1. If it was like a candy bar, it would be like CB or something. Or I would take all the vowels out of it and just have consonants depending on what it was. Or a soda or something.
And why did you do that? Why couldn't you just put Louis Dooley $10?
Because if they shake your cell down, they find your store list, they're going to write you up for running a store. You possibly go to Ho, and they're also going to go around all the people whose names on that list and get them too. So
Yeah. So what happened if your list get took?
if your list get took, you better know. Otherwise, the guys be like, well, you're beat.
And if a dude see the guards shake your cell down, and especially if they start writing a violation, like it's hard to hide when you get popped with something, right?
Right.
So if a dude know you got popped with a store list, then you might know a dude owe you some money and might not know how much. I done had dudes come to me before and be like, man, look, my list got took, but I think you owe me like $6. And I really wanted to be like, man, I only owe you $1. I just got a bag of chips from you. I got a candy bar.
Yeah.
You know, because they really don't know. And then some dudes will try to fleece you.
Oh yeah, you got guys who will run up $100 store bill and then check in. And
What's
then
check-in? Tell them what that
That's
means.
protective custody. It's when you go away and hide from general population so you don't get harmed or hurt, or especially if you owe money. Generally, people that owe money run over there and hide.
Yeah, so you go to the men and you get a ton of commissary. And dudes just gonna keep getting to you. They think, man, I'm finna get paid. Then all of a sudden, right before a store day come, you see the guards come into the wing and they start packing that dude's stuff up. And that's when
Yeah.
you like, man, I got.
Or he might not check in. He might pull a stunt where he gets sent to the hole, and then
Yeah, so he might
You
not.
don't see him for another year or two.
Because checking in, like, that's a pretty cool thing to do, right?
no, most people are lames and they call you a sissy, punk, everything else.
Yeah,
that
you
get.
check in, like, that's like you get a bad reputation in prison because it's kind of telling everybody that you scared.
Right.
And if people know you scared, what they gonna do?
They're gonna press you.
They gonna press. And what do that mean, pressing you?
That means that if you got something they wanted, they're gonna come get it.
And what could they possibly want that we would have?
Canteen,
What else?
Sexual favors. I mean,
Yeah,
anything.
man, like anything.
So-
Anything. So you got to be careful. So even running a store, if a dude think you soft and you running a store, like he'll come get stuff from you, right? With no intention to pay you back.
No
And be like,
intention.
man, you got to get it like Tyson got it. You know, you got to come knock me out and get this. You know what I mean? So a lot of times dudes will have a store and one of these penitentiary gangsters want to come get something and dudes be like, oh, I ain't got nothing.
Right. No,
I-
and they got a whole
let me
cell
get,
full of
let me get
canteen.
2 sodas. They be like, oh, I ain't got no more sodas. And then like an hour later, they watching and they see somebody else go to the dude and come away with like a 6-pack. And then you come to the cell like, man, you told me you ain't had. And dude like, boop.
Or to be like, well, I had him in there, but dude already said he was gonna come get him, so I had him put away.
Yeah, man. Like it's like if you're gonna run a store, man, you kind of putting a target on your back, right? Because people want to try you, you know. But by God's grace, we was in a dorm area for the most part that was an honor dorm where a lot of dudes were trying to be on their best behavior. That don't mean there still wasn't no gangsters and killers in there. They just wasn't like exhibiting that behavior at the time.
Right.
So what we got next, man?
The only ingredient we got left is pepperoni. And what I like
Pepperoni.
to do is quarter these.
Okay.
if I can get it open.
Or just cut it with that knife. You can get any kind of pepperoni, like whatever kind of pepperoni you like. Just get some pepperoni. They got turkey pepperoni. Look, if it's supposed to be pork, I want that pork.
Exactly.
If it's supposed to be beef, I
That's
want
where
that
all
beef.
the flavors at.
For all the flavor. But for all y'all like healthy type people, if you want to get some like pepperoni that's like not pork, they do have turkey.
I know people that's all they eat is poultry, turkey and chicken. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't eat pork. And
Yeah.
what I would do, like in the canteen banquet, we had a brother who was a believer, and he used to always come to the canteen banquet. He didn't eat no red meat. So what I would do, I would leave all the meat out of his, and I would break up a chicken breast and put it in there because they sold boxes of banquet chicken.
That was mighty. That was mighty Christian of you.
And that's how I would work that around for him.
That's cool. So, you know, in addition to like cooking meals and stuff that me and you used to do, we probably like really the only time me and you cooked meals would be like for the canteen banquets most of the time.
Yeah,
right?
or like if we did like fancy baseball.
Yeah, but you wouldn't really be cooking the meals because like one of us would win most of the time, and somebody them other suckers would be cooking. You know, the football, the baseball. But something else that you and I used to do a lot of was play sports.
Oh yeah, everything: football, softball, handball, volleyball. In fact, volleyball, we dominated volleyball for years.
Dominated for years. We dominated football for years.
Oh yeah, football. Top of the line, nobody can mess with some football.
Yeah, we was pretty tough, man. It was some intense football. I mean, you could block and stuff. So like people used to get hit with forearm shivers and get teeth knocked out.
Oh yeah, in fact, I got a scar on my chin. You can't see it because my goatee, but I got a scar on my chin where a dude hit me right in the mouth, busted my mouth, run my teeth through my mouth. Yeah,
Eddie was one of the coldest outfielders in softball, man. He could track anything down. He have his little blue. You still got that Blues hat?
Nah, I got rid of Blues.
Remember that little Blues hat you had?
Nah, I gave it to Rick Blowski.
Oh, okay. You got rid of that hat, man. Yeah, he had the little Blues hat he have on. I remember them little gray sweatpants shorts.
Yeah.
That you have. You be out there tracking everything down. He had an arm too, boy. He could gun that deal.
Back in my younger days.
Yeah. We just played some handball yesterday, and maybe we'll put some footage of it up because I did videotape some of it. Man, we was moving like some old men.
Yeah.
I know I was.
We won't talk about who won and lost neither.
Yeah. It ain't about wins or losses, man. It's about
It's about having some fun.
It's about having some fun, man, and actually doing something that I never thought I would do again, like play handball, because that's not a very popular thing out here. But even more is like playing handball with Eddie again. You know, like we would play together. Eddie was an A-League handball player and I was a B-League, and I remember we entered a tournament. It was an A-League tournament, and if you won, then that automatically made the other person. It was a mixed tournament.
Right,
It had to be one A-Leaguer, one B-Leaguer. And I kind of got cursed, if you will, because I was only in prison like maybe a couple years at that point, and I played with him, and we won the tournament. And so that made me A-League for the whole rest of the time I was in that prison. And I never won another tournament again. I mean, I played in some championships. I wasn't, like, I was good at handball, but I wasn't great, you know, and I had to play great, you know, to be able to really win. But, you know, I had other things I was pretty good in, and we won lots of championships.
Basketball, I mean, we played it all sports.
Yeah, it was fun, man. It was a great pastime. And Bible study, you know, we actually worked for Set Free together at different points in time in prison, you know, where
commenting on
courses. We get that little packet in, and we comment on the courses and turn them back in.
For years, I helped lead the music ministry there.
Yeah, and I actually got a picture. Remember at one point, we had too many people for the chapel, and they put us in the gym. And we rolled the piano down there, and we brought the speakers and all the mics and stuff. And we standing there. I'm gonna try to see if I can put that picture on here so people can see it. Yeah. Where we standing there singing, man. Yeah. You had hair back then.
We was doing the peach of the tree.
No, that was like a wreck. No, this was just regular chapel service. We had outgrown the chapel.
Oh yeah, when Randy
for like a Saturday night.
Right.
You know, because we used to have a big, like when the Browns used to come.
Right.
We had a big old service, and so we moved down to the gym and we set up. And then, you know, they put the kibosh on that after a while because, you know, them white shirts, they don't want to have that extra security and stuff.
And the acoustic wasn't very good.
And the acoustics was terrible in the gym. But okay, back to the macaroni salad. So
just one note too. This little pack here we do not put into the macaroni salad, but it is great for microwave popcorn. So if you ever have any unused cheese from your macaroni, you can sprinkle a little bit over your microwave popcorn, and it tastes great. All right.
So do you heat this up now to melt
No,
the cheese?
you don't heat it up at all.
Oh wow, okay.
Generally, what I would do with this here is I would stick it in the refrigerator, or in prison you don't have a refrigerator, so I would take like the bags. You would get a bag from something, put it in
Like
a
a Ziploc bag, you mean?
Ziploc bag. Yeah. Generally, you had like a creamer or coffee bag or something.
Oh, okay.
They come in Ziploc bags. So
Yep.
when it's empty, you just put your macaroni in that, put it down in your cooler, and keep it chilled overnight. And then it tastes much better the next day.
Oh, okay.
Because then all the flavors really get to mingle in there together.
Yeah, what I used to do is they used to sell them little like 6-pack coolers.
Yeah.
And I would get like them Tang or them lemonade, them plastic containers. And I would get like when I get rid of them, I clean them out good. And I used to like break my chicken up and put in there.
Yeah,
or
those work
anything I
great.
wanted to keep cold. Like you can pack a bunch of that in there and you throw that in your cooler. And I used to take like a plastic trash bag, a new one, and I tear a couple layers off and I put it on top of the lid. Or on top of the opening, and I screwed the lid, and the layers of plastic bag acted as like a seal. So in case the ice melted and it fell over, that the water wouldn't get in there. And you screw it on there tight, so it'd be like water, airtight, watertight.
Well, we did that for a while too with the plastic containers. You fill them up, put stuff in, put them in
Yeah.
the cooler. But there's certain officers who didn't like that.
Well, they
so
say it's
would
contraband because
Right.
you putting something else in there than what
Right.
was sold in it.
Right.
And it's like, man, we ain't even hurt nobody, man. We trying to live.
Yeah.
Like, what, if you don't mind, like, what type of sentence did you have?
I had life without parole.
What does that mean?
Means I'm never getting out of prison.
Means you never getting out of prison. And
Right.
and how many people was like that at Potosi?
Probably, I would say, a good 80% of the people at Potosi.
And the ones that didn't have life without, so if 80% had life without, what other type of sentence was there?
30,
No,
50
death
years.
penalty.
Well, you had death penalty too.
Yeah, so what
that's-
percentage was that?
Well, that's probably a high percentage too.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
if
the only
80% was life
institution-
without, then out of that
Yeah.
20%, what was 15% death row?
Probably, yeah.
And then the other 5% would have been like me. I had 2 life sentences in 100 years, but I had
Right.
life with parole. But there'd be some dudes with 30s and 20s. But the
Yeah.
reason they was there because they would have tried to escape or got caught with
Or,
drugs or
yeah.
dangerous contraband, and they got
Assault
rolled
at
there.
another institution or
Assaulting an inmate or assaulting a guard, so they'll
Right.
put them at a level 5. But for the most part, people was put there to never go home again.
Right.
And the officers knew that. And all we trying to do is live. Now, granted, we have been convicted of a crime, right? And I was guilty. And my punishment was to be taken off the street and do X amount of years or my entire life.
Right.
But the punishment that I kept we would get during that time is like, what part of the game is that? Like, it ain't just enough that you took me out of society. You got to take my chicken I put in the cooler because I could afford to buy a box of chicken, which was like in the canteen. And I just wanted to save some for the next day.
Right.
That I can't save it. You're going to throw it away. And I worked for it or my people worked for it. You know, it was kind of,
Frustrating.
it was very frustrating, man. Very
Pride.
frustrating.
It's not easy to, you want to stand up and insist on your rights, but it's a losing situation because they ain't gonna do nothing but lock you in the hole.
That's all they gonna do. So I'm ready to take. I ain't never tasted this before, so I went and got me a spoon, right? So
right.
it looked good. It smelled good. You gonna get you?
You want to?
I'm gonna just look. I'm
take a
going.
little
I'm
spoon?
going right in here, man. Yeah, I'm going right in here with a little pickle, little sausage, little pepperoni.
Need more ranch? You good?
He on to something. Man, that's pretty fire, man.
Yeah. Another thing we do too.
I probably add a little more ranch and mayonnaise just because there's a lot of meat in there.
Yeah.
Just give it a little bit more creaminess, but it's fire just like that, man.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff, y'all.
And then we also take sometimes and we'll mix chips with it too.
Yeah,
A
that's
lot
right.
guys like that, they'll use the hot chips or they'll use sour cream and onion chips. Lewis got some hot chips here, some flaming hots.
I ain't gonna open them up, right? I'll leave them here for Eddie. But I like hot chips. Sour cream would be fire in there too. I love hot stuff. So I'll probably put some of that in a bowl, crunch some chips up in a soup bag or something like that, dump them in there and mix it up. And that's a meal, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like I have me a cold Pepsi or something in my cooler that's been sitting in there all day. I take that deal out, get me a bowl of that, crunch me some chips, mix it up. Man, I'm finna watch the NBA game, Sunday, NFL.
At the Christian canteen banquet, a lot of times what I would do is make enough of this for like 50 people. 50 to 60 people.
60 people.
And then we'd have chicken with it. And then they also had frozen broccoli and we take broccoli with cheese sauce, mix it all together.
That would actually be good just to put some, like, make some broccoli. Don't cook it to death. Leave it a little,
Yeah.
like, kind of crunchy and throw that in there.
What I used to do sometimes, I would take the broccoli heads where the leaves are and just cut them off and just kind of sprinkle it in there.
Oh.
More not for the taste, but more for the color, you know.
To make it look pretty. So
Yeah.
so hold it up so they can see it, man. This the macaroni salad, man. Penitentiary style. So, man, thank y'all for tuning in today, man. Eddie, thank you so much, brother, for joining me on this here,
problem.
man. All love for you, man.
Yeah.
Always has been, always will be. So, stay tuned, man. Again, if you saw this video and you think, man, I like this, you know, it's entertaining, or like I'm into some prison learning and the culture, that's great. Like, subscribe to my channel. If you know some other people that may be interested in seeing this, hey, have them subscribe. Send them the link and say, hey, check these cats out, man. They showing a little penitentiary cooking here, and they telling some little penitentiary stories. It's kind of interesting. So hopefully those of you that have watched this have found some value, some enjoyment. My prayer is that the Lord will bless you, that he will keep you, that he will sustain you, and that he'll continue to shine his face upon you until the day of his arrival, or until we touch down in the ground. So until then, y'all, that's fire.